There's 5 of us.
Excellent. Do we have Susan here? Is Susan here? Maybe not Susan, but Sarah's here.
I am.
Excellent. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. And we have Joseph here too. Joseph is our new youth liaison to the commission.
Welcome, Joseph.
And he's a very nice young man.
If I don't talk crap about his Buffalo Bills or the NBA play-in tournament or anything else, or the mid-season tournament, I should say.
Fine, Joseph. You do need to tell everyone who your favorite teacher at Coconino was.
That would be Mr. Randall. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Crickets from the peanut gallery.
But we're going to get started since we do have everyone here. Welcome everyone to our work session of the Commission on Inclusion and Adaptive Living. And I'm Russ Randall. I'm the chair of the commission, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. I think it's 12:02. And if we could, Mariah, could you take roll for us?
Yes. Excuse me. Russ Randall.
I'm here.
Keith Becker.
Present.
Rachel Smakonda.
Present.
Michelle Eisenberg.
I'm here.
Sarah Dorman.
I'm here.
Susan Parrington.
Nice.
And I believe that should be everyone.
Thank you, Mariah. So we do have a recommended protocol.
I'm right here. You guys
I'll-
forgot my name, by the way.
Well, Joseph, for you, since you're a liaison, you don't actually have to be here.
I don't
So-
have to be here, right?
We want you to be here, but you don't have to be here as a liaison. But there is a protocol for members and participants. So all commissioners have their microphones on mute. That would include you, Joseph, to keep the background noise out of the chat room. The chair of the meeting should ensure that everyone has an opportunity to speak as they would like. Commissioners can use the chat function to inform the chair they would like to make a statement, and the chair will announce the commissioners to speak in the order in which they appear in the chat. And I promise I do my best with that. And for these commission meetings, in the interest of accessibility, please turn on your camera when speaking. And I know other commissions don't do that, but for accessibility's sake, we turn on our cameras when we are speaking. And next, I would like you all to review the minutes from our last work session meeting, which was on October 18th. So if you could just review those minutes. And then Stacy, do we need to approve the minutes from the last work session meeting?
No.
Sorry, go ahead, Stacy.
I was going to say you do need to approve them. However, this is not a voting meeting since it is a work session.
Yeah, I have the minutes for the last work session and the last commission meeting on agenda for next week for you guys to vote.
So we'll approve the minutes from both, I guess, from 2 work session meetings and the last regular meeting at the next regular meeting.
If that's how you guys want to do it. So we can do both October meetings in November, or whatever you guys want, just let me know and I'll put the agenda together so that it's whatever's easier for you.
Sounds good. And we haven't done work sessions before. This is just our second work session. So we're still kind of figuring out what the work sessions are all about. But okay, and that sounds good, Mariah. That sounds good then. Do we have any updates, Mariah or Lisa, with regards to staff liaison updates?
No, Lisa will not be on this meeting and she will not be on the next meeting. But she did want me to let you guys know that there is a training with, I believe it's with both Stacy Salzberg and Stacy Fuller on December 4th. Is that correct, ladies? for commission member training?
Yes, thank you, Mariah. Yes, the city clerk's office, along with our legal department, will be holding a board and commissions member training on Monday, December 4th at 5:30 p.m. in the city council chambers. We will additionally be streaming it on YouTube and recording it, and you will be able to join via Teams.
Excellent. And hopefully some of us will attend that. Could you tell us the dates again?
Monday, December 4th at 5:30 p.m.
Okay, and if we do want, and we can attend those remotely?
Yes, we will have a remote option. It'll be hard for us to answer questions because it will just be Christina and I on the meeting. So I'm not sure I'll be able to see the chat feature, but you will be able to view it remotely as well as review it later as well.
Excellent. So Stacy, could you send us, all the commissioners, a link to that?
Russ, it should come from your staff liaison. I've asked all staff liaisons to please forward it to their commission members.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Stacy. And Maria, we'll be looking for that, right? Or Mariah?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, excellent. Anything else as far as updates from staff?
No, sir.
Okie dokie. Sir would be my father, by the way, but that's okay. Do we have Estella Hollander here, our transportation liaison?
I don't see her on here.
Okay. Sounds good. And then Joseph. We do have Joseph here. And just for those of you who don't know Joseph, this is Joseph. Joseph is our newly appointed youth liaison. And Joseph, do you have anything to report as a youth liaison or from the community of practice transition team?
I don't think so, but I this might be off topic a little bit, but I was able to drive my school electric chair around around the house. And sorry, that's my washer, I'm so sorry, but I have been able to drive around my school electric chair all throughout the house, and I'm able to get it into my room. It's way comfortable. It's way better than my other blue one.
And Joseph, would you like to talk to us about the transition fair that happened at Coconino Community College?
Yes, I would. That transition fair was pretty good. Pretty good that we had. What day did we have? Was that like 2 weeks ago or something? I feel like it was 2 weeks ago.
It was last Friday, I believe.
Yeah, last Friday. I felt like it was a big success. And I even had my mom and my dad help out with the pizza, hand out the pizza, and bring the pizza. I felt like the transition fair was a complete success.
Thanks, Joseph. I do appreciate it. I do not have the agenda in front of me. Mariah, what is next on our agenda?
I have it here. Hold on just a second. My computer's going to die if I don't plug in. Okay, next on the agenda. Do we have any members of the public here who have any information to share for us?
Adam Shimoni is here. He'd like to say something.
We can do that now. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you. Is this the time to speak about, is it an agenda item regarding the sidewalks and such, or?
We do have you under reports and discussions to talk about the 4th Street roundabout, but.
Oh, I do want to speak about, do you have an agenda item? I haven't actually looked at your agenda, Russ. Do you have an agenda item regarding sidewalks and sidewalk maintenance with PD?
We do have well. That's next on our agenda, actually.
Okay, I'd like to comment to that, but I'll just say while I have the mic, welcome everybody. Glad to be here with you all. Thanks for having me, and I hope you have a really good work session. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Adam.
Adam.
And I guess we'll talk soon.
Yes.
So next on our agenda is our discussion about sidewalk compliance. And Rachel, you're going to talk to that, right?
Keith and I are.
And just also, you may recall at our last regular CI commission meeting on October 25th, there was discussion about the commission sending out an email to city staff with regards to our presentation to the city council, which was in October. But Rachel and I did send out an email. So to kind of start this discussion, I'm going to just really quickly read for you the email that we did send out to city staff. Hi, everyone. We are reaching out to all of you in regards to the presentation that the Commission on Inclusion and Adaptive Living Chair Russ Randall and I recently made to City Council as part of our work in making our city inclusive and disability friendly. At today's CIAL meeting, it was suggested that we reach out to you regarding how we can assist you in addressing our community's problems with sidewalk obstruction and encroachment. A few of the ideas that our working group has been brainstorming. 1, trash can and bulk trash compliance. We would like to have city staff receive training to have trash cans placed at the curb, not on the sidewalk. We could also work with city staff to create and implement a sticker that can be placed on trash cans indicating the city code. Also, perhaps a note could be placed in water bills or an email could be sent to city trash service customers advising proper placement of trash cans and bulk trash. Furthermore, we would like to see monetary fines for repeated non-compliance. Sidewalks in need of repair or having vegetation blocking them. We believe residents are unaware that they are responsible for maintenance and repair of sidewalks in front of their property, as well as vegetation that may block access. Residents are also unaware of the city program that may help pay for the cost of sidewalk repair. A note or email to all city residents would be educational. A second note for offenders followed up with city repair and a bill to the resident is also recommended. Also, volunteers could assist in reporting offended residents to city staff. Sandbags. Many of our neighborhoods have issues with sandbags obstructing access. We are not sure which city staff manage sandbags, but they should be moved so as not to block access. Perhaps a volunteer service group could do this. Snow obstructing sidewalks. We believe that snowplow drivers are trained to not push snow from the street onto sidewalks. Perhaps more training on this is called for. Also, residents need to be reminded of their responsibility to clear the sidewalk in front of their residence. Again, volunteers could also help with reporting non-compliance. Also, we are in complete support of the development of a Snow Heroes program, assisting those incapable of removing snow from their sidewalks. How can we help with the formation and facilitation of this program? Parked vehicles blocking sidewalks. We have been directly told by Flagstaff police officers that the ticketing of offenders parking on sidewalks is at their discretion. We support stricter enforcement. ADA parking violations. This one will take some brainstorming, but optimally we would like some continuing education for officers in regards to enforcement of ADA law. Again, enforcement should be not discretionary. In past years, past commissioners have used parking code and code compliance liaisons to assist city staff with the compliance and enforcement of city ordinances. We are currently working on reinitiation and the development of a code compliance liaison position that will work with Flagstaff PD and city code compliance officers. Ideally, that person will be a point of contact for the public to report via email or phone call. Then weekly, that person will send infractions to whomever is the point of contact in each department. Next, the commission would like to help increase volunteers and be involved in the Snow Hero program with a special focus on differently able citizens. We also are interested in the potential development of a civilian code compliance crew, which could assist neighborhood by neighborhood with code compliance. Next, we are currently working on 2 letters. One is to the council asking it to send out a call of action to city and private sector employees to sign up to volunteer. The other is a request for the volunteer office at NAU to collaborate with the city to coordinate in sending some of the volunteers to help all of us. These are just a few of the many ideas and recommendations we are considering. To directly quote one city council member, education, education, then enforcement. We understand we are not experts on sidewalk access. You are, but we would like to help. Thank you so much for your efforts in making our city accessible and inclusive for all. And Rachel, thank you for putting out that email for us.
Sure.
And Rachel and Keith, I'll kind of hand over the floor to you to talk about more issues with regards to sidewalk compliance.
Keith, I'm going to let you, since you've done all the sweat work on this one, take it away.
Okay. I believe the commission members, and I'm not sure who else, received 3 documents that I created that could be useful by just about anybody that would have to have any kind of interaction with residents or just city folks in general. I created a trifold document. It includes violations, educational information, which is very critical, and a QR code, hopefully that we can get the city to attach to their Safe Sidewalks webpage. Door hanger that has violations, it has educational information and QR code also, hopefully again to the city Safe Sidewalks webpage, and a sticker which has violations and QR code. And there's also a little bit of a link to Safe Sidewalks. So the first 2, the trifold and the door hanger, also has links. Now I realize that nobody will be going to be able to click on the links because they'll be printed and they're tiny, but they can still look at them if they don't have something that'll do a QR code. Granted, these are rough drafts. I suggest any corrections or changes from any of the committee members at any point in time. Being very similar, and if anybody's seen them, you'll see there's a whole lot of repetition from one to the other. I believe they're relatively multimodal, being that they can be used for different situations and by different departments that may have contact with citizens. All departments should have all 3 on hand, I believe, when interacting with the public. That way they can use whatever they need. The idea stems from one document, can't do it all, but any one document should be able to do almost all, depending on the situation. So the trifold would be used if a person, if in contact with a person, if something happens and you're actually talking to the person that has a violation, you hand them the trifold document, and that can be used for any and all of the issues that's listed on it. Door hanger, if in-person contact is not available for the person that may be having the violation, this can be used in combination with a sticker as well, but this works for any and all issues that can be put on the door. And the stickers obviously is something that's going to get stuck to something, like you could use it for a vehicle window, trash recycling receptacles, bulk trash, like a couch or whatever they got sitting out there for bulk trash, appliance and TV. And can possibly used with door hangers as well. If you're at a residence and you're sure that residence is the one putting it out, put up a door hanger also, because that has a bit more educational information inside. Granted, it's all brief, but that's what's in there. And of course, our committee or our commissioner and the commission should review and approve the final city documents before the city, prints and publishes them. But we got to present it to the city, let them approval, and when they approve it, we should have our own ability to check those things out. So I guess the next steps in that would be to get the City Safe Sidewalks webpage to include all the information that is in the trifold document, including the links, because right now the Safe Sidewalks webpage is very limited. And even if they just included the short educational information and a link, then people, when they do the QR code, they can go and look at these things in detail if they really need to or want to. The second one would be to get QR code made that links to the City Safe Sidewalks webpage, because I think that would be a great webpage for all of this information to be a landing page to get to all this information, and then to get it printed, get all this stuff printed with the QR code. So that's all I have pretty much on that. Rachel can probably speak more on the parking liaison discussion, and that would include Chief Musselman.
And thank you for that, Keith, and thank you for your work and your expertise.
So Russ, I have something also for sidewalks.
Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so this past Thursday, the commission met with Adam Shimoni, who is on the board of Flagstaff Biking Organization. And the purpose was to do a video to be able to show differently abled citizens and able-bodied citizens what it's like crossing a 7-lane intersection. And so we did that on Thursday. And then Mariah, you have a video I'd like to show. And then I know that Adam has a couple of things to say about it.
That would be fine. Mariah, do you have that video?
Yes, give me just one moment.
No worries. And while you're loading up, Keith, thank you for your work on all this. Holy cow. I mean, I think it looks wonderful, and it shows expertise with putting together this kind of information that I don't hold. So thank you for your expertise too.
And I tried to do everything so it would work on an 8.5 by 11 sheet, either cut in half or a full-size sheet. The door hanger would be obviously cut in half, but printed on both sides. And the warning sticker obviously is just one warning sticker, but if it's printed on an 8.5 by 11 sticky sheet, you can get 2 of them on there. So I tried to set everything up to be relatively simple. I did all this in Word, which is really clunky to try to do a document that would get printed and used and published. So I'm sure the city will have professional people that can do that.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Keith. And I think Mariah is ready for us to view the video.
Intersection of Route 66 and 4th Street, members of the differently abled community are demonstrating exactly that. The demonstration is meant to spread awareness of the dangerous challenges pedestrians have when crossing this traffic, as well as an opportunity for those in the differently abled community to voice their concerns.
The speed limits that the city currently has aren't conducive to someone on a bike, in a wheelchair, or somebody that's walking. Lower the speed limit to 30 or even 25 would be optimal. If it's possible, it's going to slow traffic down. And granted, you're going to have impatient drivers, but at least you're going to have an alive disabled citizen.
Organizer Adam Shimoni speaks of the importance of the demonstration.
I think that often engineers and leaders and city planners think about traffic through the lens of cars, and they don't often think about the needs of our most vulnerable, of differently able individuals, of kids, of elderly, and those that are forced to walk, and just the pedestrian in general. So we're here to help raise awareness about the viewpoint and the perspective of a pedestrian.
Adam Shimoni then talks of solutions to safe crossing, including lead pedestrian interval, where pedestrians can start walking before the light turns green for vehicles. He says that the answer to transportation in a growing community is not what you think.
Building more lanes doesn't solve the issue. Induced demand is a concept where if you build more lanes, more people will drive. If you make it more convenient to drive, more people end up doing so. If you make it more convenient and safe and comfortable to walk, more people will do that. And Flagstaff is such a walkable and bikeable community that we really need to design our corridors in our community in a way that best serves walkers and bikers first. Because at the end of the day, we're all pedestrians.
Henry Haroldson, NAZ Today.
Thanks for loading that up for us, Mariah. And since Adam, you were just speaking to us, you want to share some more information?
Sure. Hey everybody, it's me again. Good to be here with you all. I really appreciate the partnership of this team of people that are on this call. Appreciate those who came out to the meeting last Thursday. Of course, to Rachel for helping me co-lead that event, and everyone who came. That was really a big success. NAZ today is planning to do a longer segment, just so you all know, I think this week or next week on that meeting. And I know the Daily Sun is working on a piece as well. So I think we have some momentum that I just wanted to share with you all on this topic at the city and in the region, which is exciting. Just yesterday, just to give another quick update, I had a good talk with Brendan, forget his last name, but he's our ADOT district administrator. And him and I talked about all the projects that ADOT is working on in the next 5 years, which is basically Route 66, west of town, all the way to 4th Street. And we talked about the intersections. We talked about right sizing of the lanes to make those lanes thinner and give us leave pedestrian interval signals so that the pedestrian gets the green light first, as you heard me speak about, and look into other things we can do. But a lot is happening, and it's very exciting to be a part of this with all of you. So thank you for letting me team up with you all, and thanks for your partnership with me. So I guess, in thinking about the agenda item that we're here to talk about, which is sidewalks and sidewalk maintenance, the topics I wanted to elevate to this group to consider, to give you all a little bit more of like a scope to think within, and maybe some more direction. If you just say, hey, we want everyone to maintain their sidewalks, that's great. I fully support it. I think the plan that you have right now is wonderful. And I think the pamphlet looks really good thus far, of course, as it's a work in progress. But Chair and to the team, what I wanted to mention is that, there's a hierarchy of roads, travel routes that you can look at. And so, 66 is a top hierarchy route, right? Milton is a top hierarchy route. Sanford and Beaver, I don't know if they're the top, but they're one of the top. So like corridors like that, 4th Street, Cedar, all these corridors that we all know so well. Personally, it's really always bothered me that there's almost little to no maintenance on some of these corridors on their sidewalks, right, throughout the winter months. And so in working with city staff and Reggie and the team, I recommend that you all focus on the hierarchy routes, right? And really like do outreach and promotion and accountability and enforcement to some of these larger businesses and these larger corridors that rarely ever are held accountable in maintaining their responsibility of the sidewalk. Home Depot comes to mind on Woodlands, and it drives me nuts. 4th Street is a mess. That sidewalk never gets taken care of, right? And these are important routes that, support walkers, bikers, all of us, right? And those sidewalks are extremely important, especially through the winter months. So hierarchies, that's my first point. Look at the hierarchy routes and try to focus in on those a bit. The second point I wanted to make was come up with an outreach plan before, during, and after the winter. Create videos, create posts, work with a city PIO, public information officer individual, who is Sarah Langley. Her and her team have a budget for video production, and they have a person who makes videos for them now too, which is incredible. And I don't know about their capacity, but I bet if you were to meet with them or bring them into your next work session or one of these work sessions, they might be a good person to say, hey, can we create a video? Because these flyers are great, but realistically, you need a multi-pronged approach to really reach the masses, right? And not everyone's going to read a pamphlet, but someone might watch a 1-minute video, and maybe that will inspire them to actually be accountable, right? And then teaming up with agencies like the Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Business Alliance, organizations that, I think a lot of their members are the members that we're trying to target, right, and held accountable. So when you do have materials like this leaflet or this pamphlet ready, reaching out to the chamber, reaching out to the DBA, and whoever else that comes to mind, maybe F Cubed, Friends of Flagstaff's Future, just different nonprofit groups in town. The COC, the Continuum of Care group, would be a good group to promote this through, and just get the word out, right? And then my last point, and I see Keith raised his hand, is just that it'd be great if there was an easy way to report violations to the city's website homepage. And I know on the homepage they can tag or pin certain things or like create certain shortcuts on the homepage. So to have a shortcut on the homepage for report a sidewalk violation that the citizens could easily utilize, right? Those are just some ideas to get the conversation going, and hopefully some ideas to kind of focus you all in on a track, specifically around the hierarchy routes. But I'm here to be supportive and work with you all on this and make this happen, because this was, I'll just share really quick, my first year on council. This is in 2018. I remember meeting with leadership and debating about whether this should be within the city scope of work, the maintenance of sidewalks, or on the businesses and adjacent, owners of the sidewalk, like the land properties adjacent to the sidewalk. And I was advocating that the city take it on, because I don't have faith that the adjacent property owners can really be held accountable. But long story short, here we are today, and the onus is on those adjacent land property owners or businesses. So let's hold them accountable and let's make it happen. Thank you for letting me speak, and I'm here to help. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam. Highly informative. Keith, I see you have your hand up.
Yes. As far as the pamphlet, its main purpose is somebody's already in violation, and this is to notify them that they are in violation. It's a warning. The next time they will get a citation, something along those lines. And the pamphlet's not really meant just to set out somewhere. It's meant that they are in violation. They get to see it. They get to look at it and get some information. The other part is you mentioned reporting. I'd like to see some place where we could send a text, maybe with a photograph of a violation and a location. That would make it simpler and easier for some people to do. And the last part, which is kind of part of our agenda, is the Prop 419. I would like us as a commission at some point to draft a letter to the city council talking about using Prop 419 to fund 3 or 4 entry-level full-time positions in code enforcement, specifically for reporting, handing out warnings, and possible citations for a term of 5 years or more. Also provide at least 3 or 4 repurposed city vehicles for those people to use, to go around the town on a full-time, everyday use, to go and look for sidewalk violations, as well as anything they may see with the building or whatever. This would also help the city with their Walk Friendly Communities application, to mention the work of the CIAL Commission and creation of 4 positions to enforce safe sidewalks. It would help them to mention this if we get this to happen. They could mention funding from the proposition to promote, and I'll put in quotes, 29 million in anticipated revenues from the tax being dedicated and used is mine to pedestrian and bicycle projects. Well, this would be part of one of those projects. The 4 positions will be evidence of fulfilling that promise. 4 new city positions will be good for Flagstaff citizens, especially those who are looking for local work. It would be a good entry-level position for somebody. Will help educate Flagstaff citizens on safe sidewalks and for all, safe sidewalks for all people. And of course, for the people who use mobility aids and white canes. It would also provide help to city police and code enforcement to help and enforce safe sidewalks. It would provide city cell phones, hopefully, to the 4 new positions to document, so they can document and picture violations, the addresses, as well as communications with police and code enforcement if they need backup or if they need to talk to somebody there as far as whether it's a violation or not. And to hopefully for 419 to help print the documents, the trifold, the door hangers, the warning stickers, and also to create a violation informational database that is available and easily accessible to city police, code enforcement, and other city staff that might need the information like environmental services and public works. So that handles all that in pretty much a nutshell.
Thank you, Keith. Adam?
Thank you, Russ. And Keith, thank you for those comments. Just to add to Keith's points, just to kind of add my 2 cents to some of those ideas. So hearing what you said about the trifold, I think we do need an outreach plan. And again, I would recommend working with the city's PIO, Sarah Langley, and her team to come up with that outreach plan, because we should be communicating to them now, right? Before winter strikes. And then in regards to the funding, I love the idea of a code enforcement, additional staff. And I would definitely recommend us as a working group and as a commission really keeping a track on when the city council's budget retreats are, and perhaps Stacy Fobar or someone else from city staff might be able to speak to when the first retreat is, because I'm not too sure when that is, but that would be the time to start bringing those conversations up, or at those budget retreats. That's when you speak up on those ideas of additional staffing needs. And I also wonder, I think Chief Musselman is on the call, if police aides might be able to help overlay with some of this work that we're trying to see code enforcement achieve, or if this is something that, I don't know. Just curious if there's any ideas there for overlay or collaboration with PD on this enforcement concern. Keith, you bring up a great point about 419 funds. This is my last thing I'm going to say. The 29 million that you reference is for bike ped topics within the 156 million that is 419. And that 29 million is definitely all scheduled for and planned out. We can talk to Martin about that and have Martin talk to you about that. But I was just thinking through this a little bit when you were talking, Keith. These positions are going to be within code enforcement, which is within community development, while Martin and his team are all within engineering. And so regardless of where the funds come from, we're not asking for a lot, right? We're talking about maybe $60,000 for the position, more or less. It's not like it's that much. So I think the city, if there's political will, can find those funds. And it's always easy for me to say that, and staff knows that's a different story. But I think if we advocate and work with the council, I think we can find the funds to hire these positions, whether it's from 419 or not. We can make it happen. I think that's it. And I see Keith has his hand up again. Thank you.
Keith?
Yes. As far as the 419, and it's already all budgeted out for all kinds of other stuff. That's all that's for like the next 20 some years or whatever. Well, let me tell you, you can build all the nice, beautiful sidewalks you want, but if we can't walk on them without having to go out into the street, they're totally useless. So that's why I say we need to budget some of this stuff out of that money. And of course, I would love to have the police department involved, because they are going to be our eyes and ears at night to report these things and to hand out these flyers and to do those things. Because I can tell you probably about 80% of the block sidewalks from vehicles happens at night when people get home. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Thank you, Keith. Rachel, did you have something else you wanted to add with regards to sidewalk compliance?
I did, and I think it's maybe further down in the agenda, but I wanted, since Chief Musselman is here, I wanted us to talk about what we see going forward.
With regards to the liaisons, right?
Yes.
Okay, we can move into that discussion, I think, just momentarily. What I am going to ask the commissioners to do is to review the three pieces of literature, the pamphlet and the door hanger and the sticker that Keith sent out. but because I would like to actually vote to approve those at our meeting next week. So I'm going to ask the commissioners to review those, and Keith, it's all right if they send their suggestions for change to you, right?
No, it needs to go through Mariah.
I don't think so. I think if it's one commissioner sending Keith one suggestion, it doesn't need to go through Mariah. Does it, Mariah or Stacy?
You guys
I would
can also
recommend that you
go ahead, Stacy.
go ahead, Mariah.
Go
I was
ahead
just
and
going to
send
say it would
everything
be
to me, and
helpful
then we
to
can-
copy.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the things that we would like to do is to make sure that Mariah is included in all communications so that she can stay in the loop. I know that she had an issue where she didn't receive the email that we started off the meeting with. So we do want to keep the staff liaison informed of everything that is going on.
Right. And I guess that's Rachel and my error on that. I'm looking, I don't see Mariah on here. But one commissioner can send a suggestion to another commissioner with regards to the pamphlet or the sticker or the door hanger. And we should just CC Mariah on that, correct?
Yes, that's what I heard from Stacy, our city clerk. Since it is an edit and an administrative edit, sorry, there's a lot of people walking by my door right this second, then yes, that would be an administrative email and a not discussing commission business. Now, if you had a commissioner saying, hey, this is terrible, and I think we should scrap the whole program, and here's what I think we're doing instead, that could be a violation of open meeting law.
Even if it's just two commissioners on the email?
Again, I forgot where my buttons are. So basically it helps the staff liaison make sure there are no open meeting law concerns. And she can jump in if there is a concern by copying Mariah on this. Again, if it's administrative, then it's and between one and one commissioner, that's not the same as basically either influencing a person's vote on the commission or potentially having a serial communication that goes to all commissioners that can constitute a meeting.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to ask the commissioners to each review Keith's work. And if you have any suggestions for change, send them to Keith, but CC Mariah on that email. And then at our next meeting, which is a week from today, at our regular CIM meeting, we will be voting to approve that. And then if we as a commission approve those items, then we would send them to city staff or to the city council for their approval.
Mariah would handle passing it along to city council for you. We can do a staff summary or do it administratively, depending on what her supervisor feels is the best way to move it forward.
Thank you, Stacy. So I think we are now good to move on to the next item on our agenda, which would be Rachel and I think Chief Musselman.
Hi, everybody. So we have been kind of throwing around the idea of what we were calling a, what were we calling it, Russ? I can't remember.
Parking liaison or sidewalk parking liaison position. And we were actually considering developing two of those positions.
Right. So what we would like to do is split so that one liaison will work directly with Dan Musselman, and then the other one would work with Kevin Dunlap, who has expressed some interest in working with us. And so Chief Musselman would you give us an idea of what you would see our liaison do with you?
Yes, but if I may, Chair and Commissioners, I just had a couple comments on the notifications that I sent directly to Mr. Becker, and then I CC'd everyone you said to CC. So Mr. Becker did an outstanding job on the handouts. I even had my legal review it, and she was all in favor for it. The one section, he talks about bulk trash and then also bulky trash. I would just recommend we use one word instead of two different words so it's not confusing. And then he does a good deal of information on placing your trash container on the street. I think we just need to add, and it's kind of timely that Mr. Shimoni stepped off, put it on the street so long as it's not in a bike lane. Because we constantly get calls from people saying, yeah, this is in the bike lane also. And then the only other thing is, I know you guys hopefully you're not heart set on a sticker for a warning. Just we don't like putting stickers on cars because it damages the paint and stuff. And then we get claims filed through the city. I think the door hanger will work just as well. We can strap a rubber band through it and hang it on the mirror or on the handle of the trash can. But those were just my comments there. As far as a parking liaison, so yeah, we used to years ago had a differently abled volunteer that worked for us. I say worked, he volunteered, he didn't get paid. He came in, he could check out a police department vehicle, and we gave him training so that he could testify in court. He could issue the citations. He took pictures of the violations. And when he would come, he would work like a Tuesday and a Thursday, and he'd go out and work the community, issue citations, and then we would offer support for him when he went to court and make sure that's what I thought you were talking about, Chair and Commissioners, when you talked about a liaison, was looking at a volunteer. And so,
Yeah.
okay.
And we are, Chief, we are. And we are really looking at one liaison who would work more directly with FPD and one liaison who would work more directly with code compliance, frankly. And I think, and Rachel, you can correct me on this, the liaison who worked more directly with FPD would be like somebody who could become like a civilian volunteer, like you were saying.
Yes.
And would just go through the training and all that kind of stuff. So yes, we are looking at that.
I think that'd be a great addition for us. And like our police aides can certainly take up some of this. Right now, they are working nights. They're working on seasonal restriction violations for snow removal and whatnot. But I can easily pivot them to this. That's two people, so that's 2 shifts a day. But a couple things I would want from you all. I loved your PowerPoint to mayor and council, so I was hoping I could get a copy of that. That's not a PDF, so I can pull out some of those slides to use for training. And then if we have these handouts done, I think that's a great resource to give to them and say, go out, be brave, issue warnings. If you see the vehicle you issued a warning to and it's still in violation, then a citation's appropriate. And that way, when they go to court, it's easier for them to tell a judge, yes, I saw this violation. I warned it a week ago. They didn't change their behavior. They left me no choice but to issue a citation. It's easier for them to stand behind those citations versus, yeah, I saw this violation. And then the person comes out and says, yeah, I was only there for a minute. I was dropping off my handicapped mom. And the judge says, okay, I'll waive the ticket this one time. So it's just easier for us. It's more intentional if we do that warning first and then the violation. If you guys can get behind that, I think we're all good there. And we're fine. We're good to do PSAs on our socials too, once the city kicks it out, but I think you'll get a wider audience if the city kicks it out once all the handouts are done. So with that, I'll be quiet and see if there's any questions on any of what I spoke about.
Excellent. Thank you. Keith, I see you have your hand up.
Well, of course I do. I always do, right? Bulk or bulky. I think the bulky part of it was, I copied a lot of this stuff right off the city website and either out of the code. The bulky might have been in the code. So, so I tried to provide not my own opinion. I tried to find stuff that came from the city or the city's website. And of course, any stickers would go on a car window, never on the paint. Never, ever, ever. Please don't ever put anything on somebody's paint. But you know, on their trash can, fine. On their the sofa out by the street, yeah, go for it. And trash cans in the bike lane, I believe the city does allow that. I believe they don't have anything against that at this point in time. They do have something against the sidewalks, but not the bike lane. And of course, you know, people in the bike lane are able to ride in the street.
Oh, I get it.
So,
Yeah.
so you know what I mean? And so that's kind of why I included it the way it was, because I did try to, again, pull stuff off of city websites. And that's all I have. But thank you. I appreciate it. You and me should sit down and have a beer sometime. And if you don't drink, we'll have a cup of coffee. If you don't do coffee, well, I'll give you water or soda, whatever.
I'm not sure I'm allowed to meet outside the meeting, but if I was, I'm fine with that. So
Well, just
okay.
you and me, two citizens.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Thank you for that, Keith, at least for most of that, Keith. And Joseph, don't listen to them about having a beer. But that's right. Joseph is over 21 now, so that's, you know, but
I am
all right. Any
22.
do we have any more discussion on really the liaisons or Prop 419 or sidewalk compliance? I think we've kind of covered that. Yes.
So I think Reggie's going to speak more to the sidewalk compliance. But you all did bring up reporting with a text and a violation. Let me do some research on that and get back to you.
Okay.
The police department will take like Reggie does a lot of the blocking sidewalks with snow, vegetation, vehicles encroaching over the sidewalk. If a car is truly parked on top of a sidewalk, please call us for that. That's a pet peeve of mine, and I've written lots of tickets for that, and that just really fires me up because they're not even trying there. I know the other stuff, the encroachment stuff, there's some zoning stuff, and I'll let Reggie speak to it because he's more involved in it than I am. But I definitely think there's some workarounds there. And I think that's a great idea to get code enforcement additional staff. I would love to take additional staff, but they would just get sucked up into, you know, towing cars, going to accidents, taking calls. And you guys and gals deserve someone more dedicated to your advocacy, if I'm being honest. So I think that would be a great idea to support them in that decision. Really quick on the volunteer program, if you could send me that person's name and contact information, I'll get it started. There's some basic requirements: residency in the city, 18 years of age, driver's license if they're going to be driving, you know, no felony convictions, those types of things that we'll need to work through. But that's more on a personal one-on-one level. So if you give me that person's name, I'll have my volunteer coordinator reach out and we'll get that rolling.
And Chief,
Dan,
I think after next week's CIAL meeting, we'll be able to send you that information.
Yeah, sounds great.
Rachel, because that'll be an
Chief
that would be an action
Musselman.
item at this meeting.
Oh, sorry. Chief Musselman, I was also going to point out that you know who the person is.
I do?
Yes.
It's not Shimoni, I hope.
You met No, you met this person at City Hall.
Okay.
Okay. We'll let you know more.
We do need to move on. Thank you very much. But Chief, thanks for being here. Thanks for your info. I'm going to kind of move really quickly through discussion of potential civilian code compliance crew. I don't believe we have someone from the code compliance group here, do we? So I'll kind of save most of that discussion for next meeting. But one of the things that I would like to see happen is kind of like, you know, we have neighborhood watch, at least in some of the neighborhoods of Flagstaff. I think it'd be awesome if we had a volunteer citizen code compliance crew or a civilian code compliance crew, like in each neighborhood. And this would be just a person who would, you know, as they walk the neighborhood, could note violations of sidewalk compliance. But we'll talk more about that when we have Reggie with us. And And I think Adam has left. So Rachel, did you want to talk some more about 4th Street Roundabout, or do you think we covered that?
I think that the last thing I heard is, well, last week during city council, I believe that they had decided on a 5-lane, not a 7-lane, with one going into the roundabout and two lanes coming out. But now I think I read something last night that they've gone back to the old channelized rights with 2 going in, 2 going out. So I will make sure that by next Wednesday, I have an answer to that.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel. And I'm sorry to kind of be moving on quickly, but we do have a couple more things to cover. Next on our agenda is to discuss the 2 letters that Commissioner Purrington has put together for us, at least drafts of them. So Susan, would you like to talk to your 2 letters that you drafted for us?
Working on technology. Sorry, I do actually have 3 minutes and then I have to go. So I drafted 2 letters on behalf of the commission to the city. The first is a letter regarding corporate social responsibility efforts and encouraging the city council to reach out to our organizations in the community, both nonprofit, for-profit, large corporations, to create specific corporate social responsible days of service and approach all of our snow days with a pre-planned kind of call to action. So I wrote the letter. I passed it off for some feedback. I'd love more feedback from the rest of the council in how to get across the kind of this message of encouraging this corporate social responsibility piece. The second letter was written to encourage a partnership with the Center for Service and Volunteerism on the NAU campus. They already have mechanisms in place to coordinate volunteers, to vet their student volunteers, to do all of the key pieces that are challenging to get volunteers through and into a large volunteer effort, to also approach the snow removal piece for the sidewalks throughout the city. So again, a coordinated effort, knowing ahead of time that there would be potentially these calls for service for snow removal, or potentially creating a system that works with the code compliance crew that could coordinate student volunteers based on compliance issues to go out into the community and help remove that snow. So again, drafted those 2 letters and would like feedback for that.
And thank you so much for not only drafting the letters, Susan, but bringing the ideas to us. I think they're excellent ideas, and we're thrilled that you drafted the letters for us. And I think at this point, these will be action items at our meeting next week. So I would like the commissioners to all review those letters and any suggested changes. I would like you to send them to Susan, if that's okay, Susan, and be sure to CC Mariah on those on that email as well. And I actually, and Susan, I think, I do have a couple suggested changes, but I will send those to you in an email as well with Mariah on those 2. But thank you again for bringing the idea to us and for drafting the letters. We really do appreciate it. Okay. Next up, our next work session is scheduled for December 20th, which is, it's 5 days before Christmas, but I just kind of been checking to see if we will have a quorum. Will 4 of us commissioners be able to be there? I believe I will be able to be there on December 20th, but
I would.
Rachel, yes. How about you, Keith?
I'm checking my calendar real quick right now.
And or Michelle and or Susan?
I'll be here.
Excellent.
I can be there.
Excellent. Well, then we should plan on having a quorum. So we're gonna keep that scheduled date for December 20th for our next work session.
Randall, do you want me there as well?
If you can be there, Joseph, we'd love for you to be there.
Do we have a meeting next Wednesday at noon as well?
We do. Next Wednesday is a formal meeting of the commission at which we actually vote. But yeah,
Do you want me there?
yes, we would love to have you there. And Mariah, and you see, Mariah, I have sent you an email with Joseph on it too. And if you could include Joseph, then on all the correspondence that goes out to the commission, that would be great.
I can do that.
Thank you, Mariah. And then commissioners, I'm sorry, I'm keeping you a little bit late, but are there any other items that you would like to see added to our agenda for either our next formal meeting, which is next week, or our next work session, which would be on December 20th? Seeing no response to that, I'm kind of glad we have a pretty full agenda. Commissioners, we are doing a lot right now. We're kind of addressing a lot of issues, and I'm thrilled to see it. I think that it's grand. But again, our next meeting then will be our next work session meeting will be December 20th, and our next formal meeting will be next week on November 22nd at noon. And thank you for your attendance, and I am going to adjourn the meeting at, I think, 1:03.
Thank you, Mr. Randall, for letting me come over and see you guys.
Thank you for coming. And then